big, warm Tampa welcome to Schemmel.
I'm trying to get organized here. I'm still...
While he's organizing real quick, let me just say, if you guys have, we're going to do some questions. We've got microphones right here and right there. So when we get to that period, if you guys want to come up and line up.
Actually, wait, I don't think that I want people coming up to the mic and making a line, because what happens is, with a room this small, I'm going to be loud enough and I'll be able to hear you. What'll happen is they'll make a line and then we won't get to the last person and they'll be sad.
Okay.
I need to find a place to charge my phone.
All right, while you doing that.
My charger died last night. Like 7% power and my agent's all up my ass and I'm like trying to, I don't know if this power strip's worth a shit or not.
Let's find out.
I don't know, let's see. But we're going to talk about Dragon Ball Z today and other things. Like phone chargers and things.
All right, we're having technical difficulties. We're good. We're on it. Yeah, there we go.
All right, so I'm going to leave this here while that's charging. Ignore that. And hi, my name's Sean Schemmel. I'm best known as the test. Oh, good. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm best known as the voice of Goku on Dragon. Thank you. On Dragon Ball Z. I also voiced King Kai on that show. A lot of people don't know that. It's weird because I've been doing it 17 years and we did Battle of Gods and everybody was like, oh, you're King Kai too? And I'm like, you did not figure that out from the credits? Which makes me happy because my thing as a voice actor, one of my rules for voice acting is I don't want you to know it's me. I don't want you to know it's me because for me art is about, at least acting is about suspension of disbelief, and if you're thinking about me the whole time, you're not thinking about the character, or if you're going, I know that voice, or I know this, and this is the problem I have with a lot of celebrity casting, other than the fact that lots of celebrities can't voice act. Some of them can, and like a lot of the cast of Shrek is very good, and there's a lot of other celebrities out there who do a very good job, but some of them don't, and the problem is when they do this kind of fusion with, hey, we cast a celebrity and we kind of drew the character like him. Well, now I'm seeing a voice, there's a weird illusion that's happening where I'm like, okay, I know, I think John C. Reilly's amazing, but I'm like, I know that's him now, and he's not doing a different voice, he's just being him. So now I'm not being, my disbelief's not being suspended by the character he's trying to create. So it's a conundrum. So when people don't know I'm King Kai, I know I'm doing my job correctly because I want you to be living in the world of Dragon Ball and having no conscious thought about me as a person. I want you to be I want you to believe it's King Kai, and I want you to believe it's Goku. Otherwise, what the hell am I doing? The whole point is entertainment. Entertainment, at least in acting is concerned, is suspension of disbelief, which is weird because I vacillate between music and acting because I was a professional musician for a number of years playing in orchestras, and one of the things I do like about doing music is music's always an honest thing. Well, with the exception of some of these modern performers, but generally the way I grew up around music is that you were being a really emotionally honest person with your music and you weren't being a persona. Whereas as an actor, I'm being a persona and I'm creating a character, and they're both legitimate forms of art, but they're different. So when I'm playing my horn or if I'm singing a song and playing guitar, that's just me and my feelings and my soul. When I'm playing Goku, I'm not Sean, I'm Goku. And so I'm not even thinking about Sean's life or Sean's, so I'm being dishonest in the sense that I'm putting on something. Anyway, that's my opening philosophical volley. I was an ADR director in New York for a number of years. I've done about 100 different voices on various shows. A lot of people just know he's Goku, but recently I was Strong and Fallout. Strong like. And make you back. And I was in Sofia the First recently. If you guys watch that, some of you, I know a lot of you teenage boys do not watch it, but the demographic is, young girls. But, you can be a guy and like Sofia the First. It's okay. I like it. I guested on that a couple of times. Really great crew. And I worked with Frank Welker on one episode of Scooby-Doo. So these are other non-anime roles that I'm trying to throw your way. And let's see, what else do I do?
You didn't you do Batman for the mobile?
I did Batman for iPad, and The Dark Knight Rises for iPad and iPhone. And the hard part about that gig was not Batman, was playing Bruce Wayne. Because when you're a voice actor, at least for me, it's very easy to create a voice when there's a very charactery hook. I mean, it's easy to hook into, Batman. It's easy to hook into that. But if it's a real boring, plain-sounding guy, just a regular Joe with no hook, no accent, no raspiness, it's just plain, which is kind of how Bruce Wayne is played, which is good. That's how Christian Bale, I think, should have played him. I'm impressed with it. Copying that was really hard. Really getting that I'm just a guy without sounding like Sean is really tricky. That part was really hard. So anyway, I did a lot of different things. I live in LA now. I try to make my panels as infotainment as possible and as down to earth as possible. And today I think I don't know, there's been a lot weighing on my mind regarding Twitter and the election. I'm not going to talk about politics. Although I can tell you as a guy growing up in the 70s as a little boy, this is maddening, crazy. I'm not going to talk about that, but I do want to talk about a little bit of personal things, a few things. We're going to take some questions, and I try to make it as infotainment-y as possible because I would like you to be able to walk away with having your Dragon Ball Z question answered, but also maybe a piece of information that might help you in your path to whatever goals you have, because my story is a little different than most actors, and I spend a lot of time thinking about why certain people make it and certain people don't, and why people stay in the wrong career, and why people do this. And the feedback I've gotten from kids I see across the world is hey man, that was really helpful. And I'm only repeating things I learned from other mentors I had. I didn't invent any of this. I'm just processing it and regurgitating it in my own way, which may be useful to you. But a couple things I want to address about social media and Twitter. You'll notice that sometimes, and I say this only because I feel kind of bad, I can be very snarky on Twitter because, we aren't friends, we don't hang out, but we're friendly. Why the hell do people think they can say the kind of shit they say to me? Like, you sucked on that. I wish Chris Pratt was Black Goku. I'm like, why do you want to give my job away to some other actor? Would you say that to my face if we were friends? Would you say that to my face if we were in a bar? Like, it blows my mind and my whole attitude toward my career. Because I'm gonna be straight up with you. And I know this because I've talked to a lot of famous actors, and I'm not saying I'm better than them, I'm saying I have less anxiety about it maybe, or maybe I have too much anxiety. I can tell you a lot of celebrities do not have genuine relationships with their public. It's a lot of lying. It's a lot of bullshit. A lot of times it's like, I love George Takei, I think he's wonderful, but when now I found out he wasn't doing his own Twitter feed, I was pretty upset. I was like, I thought you were saying all that funny shit, George. And I think he does now, I don't know. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing on George, I love him. I think he's doing great for the gay and lesbian community, and I support his attitude toward that and his views on equality, and I think he's a tremendous actor. I'm just saying that was an example of a situation where I was disappointed, and people think, and I notice when people write me on my fan club, on my Facebook, which by the way, I'm not on Facebook at all anymore, so anything you see, my official page might still be up, it might not be deleted, but people would write me and go, if this is Sean, I'm like, of course it's me, who the hell else is going to be answering this? Well, apparently, lots of actors have people who are doing shit for them and acting like them, and to me that's so dishonest and so disingenuous. You might be a busy, rich actor or a really famous person, then just say it. Say, I do see these messages, it's not always me that responds, just be honest about it. So a lot of, you'll see that I get snarky, because to me it's just like, I'm in a bar, Twitter, and you're just some random person who decided to give me shit about my job. What am I gonna do? Am I gonna go, oh, I'm worried about you not not liking me, so I'm not going to respond like I would. There's this weird fear, this psychological fear that you're not going to like me as an actor anymore. I don't need you to like me. I don't give a shit if you like me. I do care. I do care if you are moved and affected and believe my performance as Goku. That's all I give a shit about. I could be a raping, child molesting asshole, or whatever, which I'm not, and it doesn't fucking matter, because if I make Goku sound the way it sounds, that's why I get mad when people are like, I found out so-and-so is Republican, I'm not watching his movies anymore. That's ridiculous. It is absolutely preposterous that you would link up someone's personal life with their art, which is based on illusion. You know what I'm saying? So what I try to do for my own sanity is to be as honest and real as possible on Twitter, which you'll find I'll tweet snarky stuff and then I'll delete it only because I feel guilty, because I thought, well, that was kind of mean. Which brings me to my next point. The reason I don't say happy birthday to everyone who asks. I have 30,000 Twitter followers, which is not a lot, but that's divided by 365. I'm thinking about 10,000 times I'm going to need to say happy birthday to someone I don't know, because I grew up around a time where you say happy birthday to you don't go, hey, say happy birthday to me. I don't know, you say it. Happy birthday. No, fuck you. You don't know me. What? Like I don't understand why people are like, hey, would you do this birthday shout out? Hey, would you do it to me? I'm like, okay, now I did it to you. Oh shit, I got 33,000 other people I've got to do this to. So it's not that I don't want to. It's not that I'm not thinking happy birthday. You're talking to a guy who wouldn't even say happy birthday to my friends on Facebook because Facebook told me. I'm like, I need to know your freaking birthday, or I don't get to say happy. You know what I mean? Like, that's a weird logic, because I grew up in a time when there was no internet and I'm like, I would say, I would have someone's birthday memorized, and I would say something. So there's this weird millennial generation of, well, if you just ask for it, like my page, like my stuff. And the reason I don't like it, it's disingenuous and it hurts art. In other words, if you make a video, you make your Dragon Ball Z parody, or you make your, and don't ask me about Team 4-Star, which I'll explain that in a second also. You make your video, and I see these videos of these young millennials, and they sing their bebop song, or they do their trick, and they're like our page, I'll like it if I freaking like it. Don't ask me to like it. It's almost like I made you dinner and go, so say thank you for the dinner. Say it. Dude, tell me you liked it. That's what it's like. And to me, art, it disempowers art, because what makes art powerful is if I make a stupid video, and I make some stupid little creation, right? And it ends up being like viral just because it had this weird quirkiness, like a cat video, or the gopher years ago, the dun dun dun, or whatever, that hooks people. The art is compelling enough to make you go, oh my God, you gotta see this. Oh my God, you gotta see this. Versus, hey, this is my friend's video, will you just like it? Well, now you've watered down the art, and you're hurting the art, and you're hurting what we consume, which waters down, which is why we have shitty art today. And people are like, well, musicians of the 70s and 80s, and yeah, it was better. And when Prince came out, I love Prince. When Prince came out and did that show on Saturday Night Live and just killed it, I thought two things. I thought, yay, Prince. Everybody's like, oh my God, Prince, he did it. Oh my God, he played this great show and it was live. And I thought the same thing too, but at the same time I thought, yeah, that's cool. But I remember on SNL in the 70s and 80s when that kind of performance was par for the course. Meaning Frank Zappa would come out, or whoever would come out, and no pitch correction, no nothing, and would just kill it. Prince was just doing what he had been raised to do in his artwork and his ethic and his thing to the standards that he has, which was fundamentally similar to, I saw an old video of Heart in 1970, late 70s, mid 70s. No, they were just a little cube amp on stage. They killed it, in tune, perfect. What I'm trying to say to you as young people is that there's an old school mentality around creation of art, music, and acting that is there for a reason, and it's good for a reason. And these shortcuts and these please like it and stuff are hurting art. And so when you grow up and you have children, there's going to be shittier art for you to consume. So my charge to you is make it, like I was arguing with these people who were making a Dragon Ball Z fan video, and they were, and I'm not going to say who they were, but and it was a good fan video. And one of the arguments I was having with them as a consultant was they were trying to limit the amount of time based on what they think people's attention are. And I don't agree with that philosophy, and neither did, for example, one of the most popular songs in American history is Bye Bye Miss American Pie. It's 15 minutes long. It's 15 minutes long. You know why everybody listens to the whole damn thing? Because it's such a great song. My point is if you make a great story, it can be 5 hours long, but if you keep people riveted, they will watch. You don't have to say, well, it's only this long because you only have this much attention span. And now you're insulting your audience and you're insulting your art. You see my point? So if you put up the greatest pornography of all time for 3 3 hours long on YouTube, everybody would watch it all the way to the end. Using that as an analogy, pornography being the most fundamental base thing that our caveman brains will go, oh, people screwing, great. Because we're biologically predisposed to like that, or be intrigued by it, because that's what we do. And I'm not trying to say I support or don't support pornography. I'm just saying that, using that as an extreme example, if you create art that's as compelling as pornography without the pornography, you got some pretty goddamn great art there. You know what I'm saying? This is the reason Picasso is so amazing and Prince is so amazing, because they're making art that's as enjoyable or more enjoyable than our basic, drive, our basic caveman drives. And so I didn't expect to go on this long of a rant. But anyway, as far as my Twitter feed is concerned, and not saying happy birthday and not liking your thing because you asked me to like it when I think it sucks, I'm like, I like it if I like it. If I think it sucks, is there a suck button? That's why I like Simon on American Idol. I went to classical music school. I'm a classically trained French hornist. And when I went up for my first jury, the judges ripped me an asshole like Simon does. And because I was all full of myself, I was an all-star. I thought I was the best. And no. I have my big ego. No. And they just crushed me. And I just went back home with my tail between my legs and practiced my ass off. And Michael Jordan practiced his ass off. And any other pro person you've ever heard of, it's very rare. Even Tiger Woods was training as a golfer from age 5. His dad was training him. My point is that when you put in the work and you do those things, it will be a piece of art or a piece of work that will stand the test of time because of the work that's gone into it. So I may sound like an old person when I'm like, this new stuff sucks and the kids and the making stuff. They might see that. But what I'm looking at as a person who's been an artist my whole life is I care about art, I care about a good performance, and I care about emotionally affecting people, because there's several reasons I do. Now I get really weirdly metaphysical on you okay, I'm going to say something really strange. For me, artists are windows to the other side. And through that, we can find the truth in our humanity, and it can heal, and it can lower barriers, and it can bring us together in a way that stops us from bombing the shit out of each other. That's the reason I love art. I do think it's obnoxious and stupid when somebody says, "You changed the world with my song." He says, sometimes, yes, you can sometimes, but but generally, art. If we didn't have art, and of all forms. The world would be a real shitty place. So anyway, that's the reason I'm snarky on Twitter. I'm trying to keep as real relationship with you guys as possible, and I'm trying to keep it real. And I'm like, if you're gonna say something snarky to me about giving my job, well, I hope Ian Corlett's Black Goku. Fuck you, I'm Goku. He quit. So, I'm like, I get mad because I care very, very much about this. If you talk to Justin Cook, my producer, probably nobody cares more about the integrity of Dragon Ball Z and the property. I don't know about Japan, but as far as the English version is concerned, to this day, I'll bitch about scripts, I'll bitch about whatever. I just want it to be, now granted, it's my opinion, it's my artistic opinion, and then you go, well, wait, who do you know who's right? Well, that's why you have artistic debates and you analyze it, and this is the reason producers talk, and they figure out what's going to work best to serve the story. And whoever has the most compelling, and believable argument wins it generally, and hopefully the audience responds in the same way. It's a very convoluted thing. So that's the reason I function the way I function, because I don't want to create a cult of personality with you. I don't want to create some illusion that I am Goku. I shit and have sex, I curse, I get mad, I do all kinds of things that are, people literally, you don't understand, maybe this room, but a lot of people I posted a thing on Facebook and said, it's so weird to hear Goku curse. I'm like, my name's Schemmel. I was born in Iowa in 1968. I'm glad my performance is so compelling. You think I'm Goku, but I'm not. And, it's one of those things that even Leonard Nimoy wrote a book, about in the 70s or 60s about I am not Spock, because his portrayal of Spock was so compelling, people were thought he was Spock, which kudos to Leonard Nimoy, another actor I admire. Kudos to him, but he was also dealing with the frustration of having created that monster. So I say this to you here in Florida and this deal because it's been weighing on my mind, and this is the first con I've had in 4 weeks, so it's kind of been building up in my head, so I apologize for going on a rant. But hopefully you can understand and relate, because if you get in this position, maybe, I remember one time I met an actor, remain nameless, who was on MASH, I'll just say that much. And I met him at a thing, I'm not going to tell you what that is, because then you'd be able to figure it out, but I'm just trying to protect him because he was kind of a dick to me. And I remember thinking that I was not an actor at the time, and I thought, if I get something like this, I'm going to treat it better than he is. I'm going to do it better and do it nicer. So yeah, sometimes I don't do autographs at the airport. The reason I don't is because you guys paid to get in. They're undermining that. I try to protect you and me, and I'm doing a lot of work here to try to figure all this out. A lot of my other actor friends are like, it's too much work, fuck it. I'm like, well, this is what I care about, so whatever. Anyway, that's the reason I do that. That's my weird, artistic, metaphysical rant. Now I can finally take some questions. Good, I've left enough time for questions. The panels are shorter because of some scheduling error today, they explained to me, but let's take some questions. And yeah, you in the front. And, wait, before we start the questions.
Hey, real quick.
What?
You mentioned the French horn thing. I was just talking with Sean Astin on the hall. You guys know Sean Astin?
Oh, yeah, I know Sean, yeah.
Yeah, he says that you owe him a French horn lesson.
Well, that's funny that you mentioned that because I'm hoping to see him because I talked to Sean. He told me that he had wanted his daughter to play horn, but then she was kind of like, no, I don't want to. And largely, he intimated to me that it was because he was like pushing it on her too much, but I don't know if that's the case. And I said, look, I taught horn for 7 years. I'm happy to teach your daughter, whatever. I almost brought my horn this weekend. Well, because I'm trying to practice to get ready for some performing I want to do. As I'm building my lip back up to play again. I was a French horn performance major in college. My goal was to play in orchestras and be a world-class soloist. And I did play in some movies, and I did play with the Dallas Wind Symphony, the Dallas Opera, Dallas Chamber Brass, and I played for about 10 years professionally and 20 years, total. And then I quit for a number of years to be a Goku, and which is way more fun than playing the horn. But playing the horn is a wonderful thing. And by the way, I recommend, I can't stress it enough, there's a wealth of it, and this is why it's irritating to me that our government is set up to where like, save the music from schools. We should not be having to save the music from schools. Here's why. Numerous studies show, and numerous data reveals that playing a musical instrument, even if you suck at it, so if you're last chair, don't worry about it. Working at that valves or clarinet or whatever you're playing, guitar, it doesn't matter, reading notes and doing that actually creates neural connections in your brain that make you smarter. It will make, so you'll be like, yeah, I'm last chair, I practice, I'm not really, and you might not even be, some people just aren't talented at the instrument. So what? Stay in band, stay in the music programs, because when you go into lawyering or doctoring or ditch digging or whatever it is you're going to do, you're going to be smarter and better at it just because you played a musical instrument. In fact, one of the reasons I'm getting into horn again is because I was having some memory issues. I'm 47. I'm like, am I getting older? And I thought, you know what? I want to stave off dementia. I'm going to start reading music again and playing like I used to. And I have. I've been practicing again for the last year or so, and I feel like I'm getting sharper, and I feel like I'm getting more clarity in my thinking, and I attribute it to playing a musical instrument. So even if you hate band, you hate choir, whatever, just stay in music in some level, and you'll be smarter. Scientific fact. But yes, I owe Sean Astin a French horn lesson, and I almost brought my horn with him this weekend when I see him.
That would have been cool. Could have a jam session.
I would love to jam with Sean Astin. He's amazing. Let's get this guy in the front. Yes, you, sir. Oh wait, before you answer, two things. I don't know what's going on with Dragon Ball Super. I have not signed a contract yet. I know that Funimation's working hard to do that, and I can't answer anything, and even if I had information, I couldn't reveal it this time. So I hope it's not about Dragon Ball Super.
Can you hear me all right?
What's that?
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes. Sorry.
So obviously there's a lot of Eastern influences in Dragon Ball.
Yes, there are.
I remember there's an interview you were talking about where the translation was something.
Well, to me, well, go ahead. I'll tell you how I interpreted that.
I was going to say, what was your favorite kind of influence that you found out seeped into Dragon Ball?
Well, there's a lot of Eastern philosophy in Dragon Ball, and the whole business community is all about mindfulness meditation, and basically they're just taking Buddhism and Buddhist meditation and then getting rid of what they think is religious, which it's not, and because they don't want to offend their God, and oh no, it's mystical. It's just meditation. Even the Dalai Lama is like, you're not gods. Even the Buddha was like, I'm not a god, so it's not that. I know this only because I converted to Buddhism in 1997, and I'm a terrible Buddhist. I'm like an angry asshole Buddhist, but I am. I'm a terrible Buddhist, but I understand the philosophy very well because I've read a lot of books on it. People know me like, God, you're such an angry. I go, I was 10 times angrier before I started Buddhism. But there's a lot of Eastern, it's based on the Great Journey West and the story of the Monkey King, and there's a lot of Chinese and Taoist and Zen Buddhist principles in it. It was my personal interpretation of why Goku does this, and it's instant transmission. And in Zen Buddhist, in Rinzai, I think it was Rinzai Zen or Soto Zen, Buddhist circles, the transmission of enlightenment is directly transmitted from master to student, which some would argue is bullshit. Some Buddhists say, yes, it happened to me. It's a real thing. I don't know. But when I saw Goku do this, and then I saw Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Li Bumai goes to this, and he's going to give her, and then she runs away. I'm like, he's doing the transmission of enlightenment. Goku's giving himself enlightenment, so it's a metaphor. That's the way I interpreted that. And Gohan is even talking about chi or ki and channeling that to fly when he's teaching Videl how to fly. So these are all Asian lore things that are represented in their modern culture or modern art, such as Dragon Ball, which we have our own things in our culture. I'm trying to think of what mystical things are in Scooby-Doo, but other than weed. Yeah, so wait, was there another question to that, or did I answer it?
What was your favorite thing that you learned that came from?
Well, I mean, I'd already read a lot of Buddhist philosophy by the time I got on Dragon Ball Z. I don't know that I learned so much as I go in, oh wow, that's a cool layer. That's a cool layer. I know Wendy Penny, the creator of ElfQuest, I see she's a voice or something, but she's an artist. She's the creator of ElfQuest. She's a good friend of mine. Wendy Penny, yeah. She met me in 2000. She kind of set me on this kind of path of understanding my role as Goku and portraying the Monkey King, which is interesting because I was born in the year of the monkey. My nickname as a little boy was Monkey Boy, and there's all kinds of weird monkey things going on with me, which is irritating, but funny still. So she said our booth got set next to hers at Comic-Con 2000 by accident, and we did not have a place to sign because the guy who set up the booth did not make room for us. And she goes, you can sit in our booth. And then she goes, Shun, you're voice of Goku, right? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, you believe in synchronicity? And I'm like, what is that? And I go, she goes, we should have dinner. We should talk. So she sits me down and explains to me the entire legend of the Monkey King and how important my role is playing this character. Now, to my credit, I had already taken it very seriously because my attitude as an artist was go big or go home. You know, bring it your A game all the time, or why are you even here? Which is left over from my classical music training. But she took it to a new level. She was like, she made me watch this one movie, this animated film, Ali Kazam. I can't remember the title of it, but it was another version of the Monkey King, and really put it in my head as to what my role is playing this archetype. So I learned from her, and I learned from that scenario what my role is, and the reason I've been so fiercely committed to it has been that. But I will be honest with you, because Chris Sabat might see this and go, yeah, he's not that committed. I am committed, although I have been in talks to not playing Goku in Super, and I am going to do it. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, I'll be honest with you. The negotiations have been difficult, and it has nothing to do with money or anything like that. It just has to do with I love playing Goku. I love the character, and I love what it means to you guys, but the amount of shit that goes along with it in the show business part of it, I hate, and I've been doing it for 17 years, and I'm tired. And so I'm talking to my producer going, look, how can we work this out to where I can just do this? It's not true maybe for some of the other actors. I'm a pretty sensitive guy, whatever. And I said, look, I'm not even sure I want to do this, because maybe it's time for me to hand this off to somebody else, And everyone on my Twitter feed and all you guys have been so loving and so great. They're like, you gotta be it, you gotta do it. And I am gonna do it. But I'm trying to find a way to get in the booth and get all that out of my head so that I can do it right, and I think I'll be able to do it. But if any of you think it's all hunky-dory, Sean loves playing Goku and he's always gonna, no, it's difficult, because I'm playing a character who's enlightened and who does not have a very strong emotional story arc. So as an actor, it is not enjoyable to play a character that doesn't really grow that much, because he's already enlightened. He was born enlightened. Well, he got hit on the head and became enlightened. And because he was evil and he got the evil knocked out of him. That's why I'm excited about potentially playing Black Goku. Because he's an evil Goku, and I always wanted to play, I've always been jealous of Chris being able to play Vegeta and even Piccolo and other characters that have an arc. I mean, Vegeta starts out as a total asshole and is like less and less and less of an asshole, which is why I thought the funny story arc would be Goku gets hit on the head and becomes an asshole, and Vegeta has to teach him how to be nice with the limited amount of etiquette he has. He's like, I don't know, just say thank you, I think. I'm not, or whatever. Open the door for the lady, I think. I'm not sure, they're beneath us anyway. And whatever he does, I think it'd be funny if Goku's like total, So when I heard about actors, other actors on shows who didn't want to return, I never understood them. How could you not want to play Captain Kirk forever? Which I know William Shatner likes doing. At least that's what he has said. He hasn't said that to me, but there's a lot that goes along with it, and there's a lot that can be tiring about it, and a lot that can be difficult about it. And I think I'm in a unique position because I play the lead on the show, so that puts, Chris can kind of be tangential if he wants, even though his Vegeta's easily as popular as Goku or more popular, and he's I guess could be considered the lead on the show. But the story's about Goku and the Monkey King and the Great Journey West, which is who I play. And then there's also the struggle against the previous Gokus and having that space to go, okay, this is my space versus creating an original role. Then there's the struggle against the dub versus this. So I'm like on all these forces that are like pressuring, and I'm like, look, I just want to make the show. I don't give a shit about who played it before. I love Masuko Nozawa, but I can't be concerned about the Japanese version. This is my realm. This is the reason I don't like to talk about Team 4-Star. They're funny, it's fine, but I didn't spend years and hours and days working on that show to come to a convention to talk about their shit. That's fine if they want to do it. I'm here to talk about what I want to talk about and what you want to talk about. So this is the psychological struggle I go through, whereas Chris is so laid back, he's just like, screw it, don't worry about it. And he's a very laid back guy. I'm really uptight. And I'm like, well, these are things I care about. So this is who I am. I'm going to be who I am, you know what I mean? Like Trump, I'm just going to say whatever the hell I want without thinking about it. Sorry. Why can't we use the nuclear weapons? Oh, I don't know. Did you see the bombing of Hiroshima? Do you know how bad it is? Anyway, I digress. So hopefully that answers your question. And I tend to answer tangentially, so that wasn't, and none of this, was directed at you in any way. But I'm not bitching at you is what I'm saying. I'm just, and you say, well, and the other weird philosophy is like, well, you're Goku and you get to meet people and you're a famous character. You should just shut up and be grateful. I'm like, I am grateful, but the problem with producers and people who are in greater power will use that to manipulate you. In other words, they'll go, well, you should just be grateful to be here. I'm like, well, wait a second. Does my talent have no value? Does my gifts have no value? It's like this. Yes, I'm grateful, and I hope you're grateful that I'm doing it. And it's an even exchange as far as I'm concerned. Whereas if I were to take, the problem is if I take that weaker power position, what happens, by the way, those chandeliers are really lovely. Sorry, ADHD. But if you take that power position, then I can't strive for more if I go, well, I'm just lucky to be here, and I'll just take it up my ass, and all the things I hate, I'll just let people just be a dick to me on Twitter because I'm just grateful to be here, and I just let people crush me, And so it's about boundaries, respect, about me valuing and getting other people to value what I'm bringing to the table. I can't tell you the number of producers that wanted to pay me with fan love. Well, your fans will love you. I go, I don't need fan love. I need cash so I can pay my bills. It's like fan love does not pay my bills. It doesn't let me see the doctor. Well, you get a lot of autographs, unless I'm selling, which I am now, which I didn't for 15 years. And then my agent's like, what the hell are you doing? That's one of the reasons I do it. It's a supplemental income thing. If I got residuals, I wouldn't charge for an autograph, but I don't. So there's all kinds of business layers to this and psychological layers to this that I struggle with in terms of, marking my boundaries without looking like a prima donna egomaniac, being respectful of the character, respecting myself, respecting you, honoring the character, all just to get that clear so that when I get in the booth and have to psychologically shunt out my own psychology to be Goku, I can do it effectively so you get a good performance and an enjoyable experience eating your chips, having fun, doing whatever it is you're doing when you're watching Dragon Ball freaking, oh, he just charged up. And I get very excited about that. I get very excited when I see people just watching Dragon Ball and then goes, ah! I'm like, ah! And like everybody's freaking out, like, ah! That's where I get goosebumps thinking about how I affect people. That way, that's the real value for me. Still doesn't pay my bills, but my producer would like me to think it does. I'm not talking about Justin Cook, he's wonderful. I'm talking about previous producers I had. Justin Cook is amazing. He's probably one of the reasons I'm still on the show. So if you ever see Justin Cook and you like the fact that I'm on the show, thank you, thank Justin Cook. Anyway, sorry guys, this was not interesting to you, those who have to leave. Let's take another question. I got one question in a half an hour. I suck. Yes, Jesus, or whatever you're dressed as. I can't tell that's a, oh wait, I thought it was a Jesus outfit, but it's not. Sorry.
Favorite story arc?
My favorite story arc, I've decided, there's all these sagas and stuff, and I never could really decide, and I realized in this last go-round in Resurrection F and Battle of Gods, which I consider Resurrection F and Battle of Gods our best work ever. I'm very proud of that. And I only say that because there's a lot of work I did on early Dragon Ball Z that I think sucks, which I'm not going to talk about, but because I was a new actor. But I've decided my favorite story arc is the Goku-Vegeta relationship throughout the entire series. That's its own arc. In fact, Dragon Ball Z could be called Dragon Ball Z, aka the love affair between Goku and Vegeta, like the Goku-Vegeta love story. So that's my favorite, that whole relationship, especially now that it's gone into this more, two Goku and Vegeta, just like Goku and Krillin, were training together with Master Roshi. Now it's Goku and Vegeta trained together with Whis and Beerus, and then Vegeta's kind of been slowly pulled into the fold, and even Whis has very bluntly said, you could be more like Vegeta, and you could be more like Goku. And me and Chris Sabat couldn't be more like that in terms of, except I'm more like Vegeta and he's more like Goku. My friendship with Chris could be described as, I feel he could stand to be a little bit more like me, and I could stand to be a little bit more like him. Because he doesn't give a shit about anything, he's pretty laid back, and I give a shit about way too much, and I think he should give a shit more, and I should give a shit less. And somewhere in the middle, we both, although he'd probably go, what the hell are you talking about? I'm fine, I'm happy. Because he's so happy with who he is. Which is fine, I respect that. I love him for it. But anyway, so hopefully that answers your question. Yes, yes, in the front here, yes, hi. That's a tough question to answer, because here's what's funny, and I have the same problem with my girlfriend. I have this weird problem where when someone asks me a question, I'm almost like Data in the sense that I access my entire database of whatever it is. So my girlfriend is like, what do you want to eat for dinner? I'm like, I'm thinking about every food item on earth, and I get frightened. I'm like, just don't ask me, let's just order stuff. And she's like, why are you so mad? I'm like, cause my brain just can't not access part of my database. So when you ask me what my favorite line is, I'm going, okay, 297 episodes, 15 movies, hang on, and I'm like trying to dig in my memory, then my head starts hurting, and then I'm like, why are you asking me what my favorite line is? I have no way of knowing how to answer that. It varies. To answer your question, it varies in the sense that, like in Battle of Gods, Resurrection F, the whole scene with Goku and King Kai in Battle of Gods, I'm very proud of. Those are some of my favorite lines. When Goku is trying to apologize to Gohan for being a shitty dad, that's some of my favorite lines. There's some moves and scream moments that are some of my favorite lines. Instant transmission, that doesn't work on Cell is kind of a favorite moment for me. Had it worked on Cell, it would be more of a favorite moment, but it didn't, much to my chagrin. So yeah, it's hard to answer that question. I wish I could. No, and I'm not offended at all. I'm just, my brain's going, okay, what my favorite line in 17 years of doing that? I can't. And then the next week, I might record something on Super if we ever do that, and go, oh, this is my new favorite line, or whatever. But anyway, next question, yes. Let me get some way back there, way over there, I don't want to ignore, yeah, way over there, yeah, you. Yep. Yes, with a shirt.
Speak up loud.
What's your power level?
My personal power level? Well, before I got a horrible digestive disorder, it was over 9,000, but, and that's what's exciting. I do get excited about seeing Dragon Ball Z, because Dragon Ball Z is an anime that was dubbed in America, and I love seeing it bleed into mainstream television shows and movies. Like, I swear I thought in the South Park movie back 15, 17 years ago, when he says, God, now you can't Kamehameha, bitch, and then he does this hand move that looks like a Kamehameha. I'm like, did he just do a Kamehameha? And he said Kamehameha, King Kamehameha, bitch, or something. Is that a Dragon Ball Z reference? And then I saw an over 9,000 reference on I think I saw it on Mr. Robot or something, an over 9,000 reference. And so I see him all over the place, and it's very exciting and gratifying. So I'm like, wow, that's made into that show. You have a question, or are you just being a bad Vulcan? You're not doing it right. Oh, okay. You're not doing it right. I'm teasing. What? On this show? On Dragon Ball Z? I like Dr. Gero and the android business because it's so creepy. I've been watching a little bit of Dragon Ball Super. I'm trying not to watch too much of it, but I'm also trying to get a feel of it. And I think I was watching the Black arc, the Black Goku arc. And that storyline, that Trunks storyline is really interesting to me, what's going on with that. And I think the Trunks, I love the Trunks storyline, because if you know Eric Vale, what's funny about him is he's kind of eccentric, disheveled writer in some ways, and I always like the fact that he's, like, Trunks' mind is so messed up because he's traveling through so many timelines that he's just kind of freaked out, and to get Eric to do that in the Trunks voice is really funny. And again, just kind of be freaked out about, oh, where am I? What am I doing here? What timeline is it? You know, like he just does not know what's going on, and it's messed with his head. I think that's really interesting. I don't have a favorite villain per se. It used to be the whole Cell thing and the Boo thing, and I found the whole Frieza thing kind of annoying. It wasn't my favorite villain. I mean, Frieza's a cool character and all, and I can see why the Japanese like Frieza, and I can see why you guys like Frieza, but there are other villains I like a little more. I know it's not really a straight answer, but yes, next question. Yes, lady over here, yes. Yeah, you.
How did you know that you were a voice actor?
How did I know I was a voice actor? The day I stepped into the booth to record Goku. Well,
You didn't initially audition for Goku, though, right?
no, I did.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah, no, I did. What's interesting about it is, it's funny that you say, the question was, how do I know I was a voice actor? It's interesting that you mentioned that because, you know, when I started playing horn in 1980, I thought, you know, I just want to play in orchestras and play this instrument. I love this. This is great. And I had been doing voices my whole life since the time I was like a little kid. I was always turning on the volume on the TV and making up voices because I didn't give a shit what the people were saying. I'm like, I mean, there's shows I would watch, but if there was like an adult show, meaning like black and white television from the 50s, to me that was adult television. I don't mean, you know, X-rated, but I mean just like, you know, some 50s show or some 40s movie. I was like, these guys are boring. Turn it down. Hey, turn it on. And I would just say, you know, whatever, make up shit. And I was a big fan of Rich Little and Robin Williams and Bill Cosby, and I listened to lots of Bill Cosby records. And then I was doing music or whatever, and then my friends, you know, okay, I'm gonna try to answer this in a different way because I'm running out of time, but it's a good question. I think you'll like the story. I was in the Six Flags marching band in Texas, and there was I used to do impressions all the time for my friends. They used to invite me to parties, and they would say, just do this impression. And my friend Mark Finley, who we call Foot, would say, do an impression of Popeye, doing an impression of Grover, doing an impression of Kermit the Frog. And I'd try to mix up 3 impressions. I was constantly doing it. And I remember recording at the Six Flags, record your own song, it'd be a hit. Popeye, I was doing Popeye, singing a George Michael song. And I had a lot of curse words in it. And they said, if you record that again without curse words, we'll use it and play it here at Six Flags. I'm like, all right, so I didn't use any curse words, and which is something I don't normally do because I don't believe cursing really hurts people unless you're yelling at someone, but I think it's silly. But I record, and then I would hear people tell me, hey, yeah, there's this thing, and there's this weird Popeye recording. I'm like, that's me. I didn't think of myself as a voice actor then, but I was doing voices my whole life, and I never thought of it as a job, and then there was an open casting call for Dragon Ball Z, and my friends were like, man, you do such good voices, you should go audition for this. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm gonna be a French horn player. No, really, you need to do this. I'm like, no. And a lot of people got on my ass to do it, which, by the way, is a metaphor for a great litmus test to see whether or not you should be whatever it is you want to be. Meaning, if you think you're going to be a great singer, a great actor, and nobody's really complimenting you, I would think about maybe not doing that. I trust your close friends, to be honest with you, like if you suck at something, you know, or not, because they're going to be really honest with you, but your average person's like, no, it's great, yeah, it's great. But my friend's like, no, they were on my ass about it, like, you really need to do this. So I show up to Funimation, they're replacing the Canadian cast, and they say, copy these voices, and I'm like, that's all I do. This is great. So I can copy these voices, and I thought I killed my Captain Ginyu, and I thought I killed some other voices, you know. But I got Goku, which I did not think that. So when I showed up to work the first day, and I'm in the booth, and I didn't realize I'd gotten the lead role because I knew I was playing Goku, but I didn't understand that he was a lead role. And I remember doing it like the first day, going, "Wow, this feels like really comfortable. Like this is really like the right relationship for me, the right situation. It was like falling in love. It's like being in the right relationship. It's really just fits. It fits like a really, you know." And I remember thinking, wow, this is like a dream I didn't know I had. And I started doing it, and I didn't even think I was good at it until I was in New York for about 4 or 5 years, and I had voiced dozens of voices for 4 kids. And still, tremendously insecure about whether or not I'm good at it. Because I don't trust who's making the decisions about casting. I don't trust the general illusion of entertainment, and so I feel like I have to hone it until I think it's so good, and everybody thinks it's so good. Then I know it probably is good, might still suck, but it's probably mostly good. good. And I pay attention to people who are really great at things, and almost all of them invariably do this exact same thing. They work and work and work and work and hone, and they don't worry about feedback necessarily. They just work on what they believe is a craft, their thing, and then they put it out there and see what they get. The problem is we have with social media and with us being able to interact with our fans more is that I need to have a space to create my stuff, and people get involved. Like, people are getting involved in debating what they think my Black Goku voice is like, and predict, well, it'll probably be this. Like, how the hell would you know what I'm going to do in the booth, and why are you even think it's your place to talk about what I'm going to do in the booth? Like, it's preposterous to me, which would never have existed without social media. And as artists, we need that space to go, look, I appreciate you got an opinion, and I appreciate you're excited about Dragon Ball, and I bet you think it'd be great if we don't like this. I don't know. But I'm the guy who's doing the art, and I need you to shut up while I am focusing on this. And then when I'm done, if you don't like it, I'm not going to adjust it based on what you don't like about it, but I'm open to hearing your opinion. Because you don't want to get into the reverse artistic bubble, which is like everything I do is great, like Kanye. He thinks everything he does is great, which it's not. And you know, I'm the greatest ever, whatever. He needs to really analyze a Beethoven sonata chord for chord, or a Mozart sonata chord for chord, which I have done in music school, and understand what real, true musical genius is. Because a lot of people use the term musical genius, and it's not. It's when you really analyze the masters in a very detailed way. I remember when I was analyzing Beethoven sonatas in college, and I was like, I like Beethoven okay. I'm a bigger fan of Strauss and Stravinsky, etc. But I'm analyzing the sonata as part of my coursework, and it just dawned on me. I was doing it chord by chord, and then one day I'm like, holy shit, this guy's a genius, because not only was it beautiful sounding, it was mathematically flawless. It fit perfectly like it was this beautiful puzzle that melded left brain and right brain thinking, and my brain just went, oh my God, I couldn't believe how much of a genius Beethoven was at this moment in college. And I think a lot of modern pop artists do not understand this, and they just think, everybody loves me, so I'm great. Well, a bunch of average people who don't study music love you, great. And I'm not saying you're average, I'm saying the average person, like, who is not aware of this sort of thing is going to think it's great, you know what I mean? I mean, if I don't play, if the instruments don't exist, and all of a sudden I show up playing a blade of grass, which I can do, by the way, and no instruments exist, you go, oh my God, you're a genius relative to that, you know what I mean? It's all about relativity.
Okay,
so anyway, I'm running out of time, I'm sorry. We gotta wrap it up, sorry.
Hey, listen,
I will talk all day.
Guys, come back to his booth, you can ask questions there, get an autograph.
Yes, and I'm sorry to take more questions, I had a lot I wanted to say, your questions are great, I hope I wasn't annoying, thank you so much.
Panel. Guys, give a